August 1953, Tehran. A man is looking out his window. Down in the street below, two crowds are tearing each other apart, fists, screaming, blood on the pavement. What he doesn't know, what nobody in that street knows, is that both sides were paid by the same man, an American, the grandson of a president, with a suitcase stuffed full of CIA cash. That day, Iran loses something it will never fully get back: its chance at democracy. And it will take 26 years for the bill to come due. But when it does, the entire world will feel it. Part 1. The Man in Pajamas. To understand what happened in 1953, you first need to understand one thing. Iran was rich, obscenely rich. Beneath its deserts and mountains sat an ocean of black gold. But that wealth, it wasn't going to Iranians. Since the early 20th century, Britain had its hands around Iran's throat through the Anglo Iranian Oil Company, what we now call BP. The deal was a flat-out insult. The British raked in enormous profits. Iran got scraps. Sometimes as little as 16% of the revenue, sometimes less. The Abadan refinery was, at the time, the largest in the entire world, a money-printing machine, and surrounding it, poverty. Iranian workers who couldn't afford basic health care, while British executives lived in private clubs with swimming pools and servants. It is in this world that one man steps forward, a man nobody takes seriously. Mohammad Mossadegh, 69 years old, an aristocrat, a trained lawyer, and honestly, a strange character. He holds meetings with foreign diplomats from his bed, in his pajamas. He weeps openly in public. He faints during his own speeches. The British find him laughable, an unstable old man, they think, a mistake in charge of a country. They couldn't be more wrong. Because behind the pajamas and the tears, Mossadegh has one idea, just one, and it's revolutionary in its simplicity. Iranian oil belongs to Iran. Not to London, not to British shareholders, to Iran, to the Iranian people. In March 1951, Parliament votes to nationalize the oil industry. Mossadegh becomes prime minister, and in the streets of Tehran, the city erupts. People dance, weep, embrace strangers. For the first time in decades, they feel like their country actually belongs to them. In London, nobody's dancing. Part 2. The Empire Strikes Back. Britain's response is immediate and ruthless. A worldwide boycott of Iranian oil, a naval blockade of Iranian ports, Iranian assets frozen abroad. The goal? Strangle the economy, starve the people, force them to turn on Mossadegh. The Abadan refinery shuts down. Government revenues collapse. Iran starts suffocating. But Mossadegh doesn't budge. So Britain changes tactics. They go looking for a more powerful ally. And they have exactly the right argument to bring Washington on board. Mossadegh is going to hand Iran to the communists. It's 1952. The Cold War is at its peak. Dwight Eisenhower has just been elected president. His CIA director, Allen Dulles, sees the world in black and white. You're either with us or against us. His brother, John Foster Dulles, is Secretary of State. Both men have deep ties to major American corporations, and to them, nationalizing a country's oil industry sounds dangerously close to communism. Never mind that Mossadegh was actually a democratic nationalist, deeply liberal, hostile to the Soviets. The facts don't matter anymore. Fear does. The plan gets the green light. The CIA and MI6 join forces. The operation has a code name: Ajax. The man chosen to run it on the ground is Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the grandson of Theodore Roosevelt. He arrives in Tehran in the summer of 1953 with a suitcase full of dollars and a simple mission: overthrow the elected government of a sovereign nation. Phase 1. Propaganda. The CIA buys journalists, politicians, and religious figures. Fake articles get published painting Mossadegh as corrupt, godless, and a Soviet puppet. CIA-funded provocateurs even bomb a cleric's home, then blame it on communist militants. The goal is to manufacture chaos, spread fear, and muddy the waters. Phase 2. The Shah. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi is a weak, indecisive man who is terrified of confrontation. Roosevelt leans on him hard until he finally agrees to sign the decrees firing Mossadegh. The Shah signs the papers, then immediately flees the country, running off to Rome to wait and see if someone else can clean up the mess for him. On the night of August 15, 1953, the coup begins, and it fails immediately. Mossadegh had been tipped off. When the Shah's men arrive to arrest him, he has them arrested instead. The whole operation collapses. CIA headquarters panics. An urgent message goes out to Roosevelt: abort, get out of the country. Roosevelt refuses. He still has the suitcase. He hires street gangsters to flood the city, posing as Mossadegh supporters, smashing windows, attacking mosques, creating the impression of total anarchy. Then he sends in a second wave, a pro-Shah crowd, paid to believe that Mossadegh is an enemy of Islam and of Iran itself. Military officers and police commanders, bribed in advance, either join the rioters or simply stand aside and watch. On August 19th, Tehran explodes. Tanks in the streets, government buildings stormed, Mossadegh's house surrounded and attacked. Hours of fighting. Somewhere between 200 and 300 people dead. Mossadegh surrenders to stop the killing. The Shah flies back to Tehran, not as a constitutional monarch, as an absolute ruler, placed back on his throne by a foreign power, with someone else's blood on the ground beneath him. Part 3. The bill comes due. Back in Washington and London, the mood is triumphant, brilliant, clean, efficient. American oil companies walk away with a 40% stake in Iranian petroleum. And the CIA has discovered something intoxicating. It can topple governments. For about 25 years, it looks like a success story. The Shah modernizes Iran, highways, universities, expanded rights for women, what he calls the White Revolution. Oil money flows. Iran becomes America's most important ally in the Middle East. A pillar of stability, they say. But to hold on to his throne, the Shah has to crush everyone who might threaten it. In 1957, with help from the CIA and Israel's Mossad, he builds a secret police force, SAVAK. Their agents are everywhere. Journalists arrested, dissidents who vanish in the night, activists tortured in basement cells. Amnesty International estimates tens of thousands of political prisoners. Thousands subjected to methods that don't bear describing in polite company. SAVAK becomes the most hated institution in Iran. And through all of it, one memory refuses to die. 1953. It gets passed down from parents to children like a wound that won't close. We had a democracy. It was stolen from us. The Americans took it. One man, above all others, keeps that memory alive. A cleric the Shah had thrown out of the country in 1964. From his exile in Iraq, then later in France, he sends audio cassettes back into Iran. sermons, calls to resistance. His name? Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. He doesn't talk about left-wing politics or Marxist theory. He talks about betrayal, about dignity destroyed. He points to 1953 as the original sin, the definitive proof that America is the enemy of Islam and the enemy of Iran. And people listen by the millions.
The harvest. By the late 1970s, Iran is a pressure cooker with no release valve. Strikes paralyze the economy. Mass protests roll through every major city. The Shah, who American intelligence believed was untouchable because the CIA was getting its information from SAVAK, and SAVAK was lying to everyone, collapses in a matter of months. In January 1979, he leaves Iran for good. 2 weeks later, Khomeini's plane touches down in Tehran. 5 million people are waiting in the streets. The revolution has won. But the story doesn't end there. In October 1979, the United States makes one final mistake. They allow the exiled, cancer-stricken Shah onto American soil for medical treatment. To the revolutionaries in Tehran, this feels like a replay of history. The Americans are setting it up again. Another coup, another 1953. Students storm the U.S. Embassy. They call it the nest of spies. 52 Americans are taken hostage. 444 days of crisis that shatter what's left of the relationship between the two countries. The hostage crisis didn't come out of nowhere. It was the echo of a crime committed 26 years earlier. That's what the CIA never accounted for in 1953. No 30-year plan. No question asked about what it does to a people when you steal their democracy. Just the arrogant certainty that great powers can move the world around like pieces on a board and never pay the price. Iran proved otherwise. A seed of rage planted in the streets of Tehran on an August morning, watered for 26 years by fear, torture, and humiliation. And when it finally bloomed, the whole world smelled it.